A very good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us on the breakfast program this morning. My name is Michael Abassi, and I'm very glad to see you this morning. And the social media handles will be rolling on your television screen this morning. Try as hard as possible to take advantage of them. We are on everywhere: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, name it. Try the very best you can to make use of them. Drop your comments and your questions where necessary, and let us get to interact from there. Well, this morning I was just thinking about the level of drug abuse in our communities, in our respective communities. And if you put your ears on the ground and look very well, you would discover that the trend is seemingly becoming unabated, although the relevant government agencies like the NDLEA is trying the very best to nip that ugly trend in the bud. But then people are devising all kinds of ways to make sure that they do not stop. Well, I don't know how we should start addressing this problem, because it has constituted one of the major problems we have, not just in Nigeria, but in other parts of the world, where people who are pushing drugs are making business from it and becoming billionaires on a daily basis. And as a result of it, the younger people in the society, have been so drawn into it, and maybe because of peer pressure, because I wouldn't say they've been lacking parental care, because in 21st century, no matter how you say you have been able to bring up your child, well, if providence or if care is not taken, just one relationship that your son or your daughter has can corrupt the entire investment you have made on him or her over the past how many years and all that. But I think beyond the government agencies doing something, there are so many plethora of things you can actually do to help. And that was why I was particularly happy, I think, yesterday when the Niger Delta Development Commission took the campaign against drug abuse to drum it into the ears of the very, very young people in the high school, or what we know as the secondary school. And of course, they went as far as telling them the dangers of drug abuse and all that. It makes me remember when people used to say, catch them young. The agency did not just, the commission did not just do it for the youth, but then they had to target the very young people in the secondary school, because we believe that if you're able to catch them at that level and expose them to the dangers of drug abuse and, of course, feed them with the information that they need, they are still at the molding stage of their lives. Who knows? It can actually help. So that becomes a clarion call for every other person. You don't have to be a government agency. You don't have to be a government ministry or parastatal. Even at a personal level, at an organizational level, community level, or religious level, I think it is important to take this campaign to the nooks and crannies of the society the very best we can, because you cannot estimate the dangers of drug abuse, the impact it has created. I mean, the very negative impact it has created on the lives of younger people, and quite a number of them are in hospitals because of one kind of disease or the other. If it is not cancer, it is heart failure or something, or they just have one kind of decay in a very vital organ of their body. And of course, the other people are mentally affected, psychologically affected, and all that. So I think there is the need for everybody to join hands and speak against drug abuse. I know it is very difficult for illicit business that gives money to stop, but I think we can do something as a people, to tame it, to control it, and believe that one day, the information we need, the kind of change that we need would just enshrine in our hearts, and we will see the need to stop some of the things we do to spoil the younger people and, by extension, and make them to become criminals and all of that. So it is just very important. It begins with you, it begins with me. If you have a friend who is doing it, try and, in love, do something about it. And who knows, one positive attitude towards somebody who is on drugs, can make a whole lot of difference in the person's life. All right, so that's that for it. And the issue of 20,000 Naira withdrawal limit is still making waves. We have our House of Representative members, the Senate, making statements and summoning the people they need to summon, of course, the outcry and all that. So let me play you a trending video where a certain member of the House of Representatives is still very heavy on this particular matter. Immediately after that, we'll come back and take the newspaper reviews for this morning.
Will always ask us of what and how we have been able to do and take the right decision at the right time. Yes, there are policies, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, that might affect us politically. But there are policies that at the same time, we should be able to look at economically, how does this policy work? And at the same time, with what we are facing as a people in terms of insecurity and corruption. As an anti-corruption expert, Mr. Speaker, I support this policy in the sense that it's going to reduce corruption drastically. And again, facing insecurity in my own constituency, Mr. Speaker, is going to give bandits a tough time in requesting for cash. But economically, it's an issue that we should be able to look and invite the CBN governor to be able to explain. Economically, but in terms of corruption and insecurity, Mr. Speaker, I support this 100%. But in terms of the economic drive of this country, the CBN governor should be invited to explain to us which is the way out. But politically, if we look at it and try to say that no, but let's look at it with the two ways of the coin, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. That is my submission, that we should invite the CBN governor to explain this area economically. But security and corruption, I support this.
Thank you. Honorable Ben Kalu. Sub 4 and Sub 5 of the CBN Act. I guess that works in tandem with the resolution anyway. And I guess if the resolution carries the day, we'll also be referencing those statutory provisions when the clerk writes for the formal invitation to the CBN governor. Thank you. Point of order sustained. Ben.
Okay, so that's the situation there, and we will continue to bring you the update. A lot of people say it is a good policy. A lot of people say, although it is a good policy, but it is going to adversely affect some people and all that. So let's just hope, because the Central Bank of Nigeria has given its word through the CBN governor, Godswill Akpabio, who spoke very recently when he went to meet with Mr. President. He said, look, the Central Bank of Nigeria, the people who are managing the central bank are people. They are human beings. They understand the situation. So let us implement it. Where necessary, we can make some adjustments here and there. We are not going to be rigid about it. So as a result of that assurance from the Central Bank of Nigeria, I don't think there is any cause for alarm whatsoever. And one thing I keep saying is that if this particular limit, withdrawal limit, or this particular fiscal policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria is going to mean well for the entire country, I think we should support it if it is going to positively affect our own economy. If it's going to do anything to add value to the Naira and the rest of it, I think we should wholeheartedly support it, because that's what we need at this particular point in time. Let's show sentiment and the rest of the unintended consequences. I know it's going to bite harder, but I think that Rome was not built in a day. We have to start from somewhere as a country and move forward. So on that note, I would like to kickstart the paper review segment by introducing the paper reviewer for this morning, the state chairman of the Civil Liberties Organization, Akwa Abasibom State, Otuikon Franklin Isong. So good to have you sit with me here on the program today.
Thank you, Michael. Good to be here.
All right, so let's begin by taking a look at the Punch newspaper, please. The Punch newspaper has this. 2023, INEC vows prosecution of voters' card buyers and sellers. Commission insists on beavers to combat PVC fraud. Police working with INEC to track riggers, force headquarters. Senate postpones hearing on cash withdrawal limits. Fake soldiers in court for terrorizing Lagos communities. Majestic Messi secures Argentina World Cup final sports. And that's what's going on at the sporting activities in Qatar. And of course, our sports crew later this morning will take you through all that. And still on the Punch newspaper, mass rallies on LG autonomy to hold Tuesday. My life in danger. Executive Speaker petitions IG. Nigeria leads in yam production. Exports none. FG. And we go straight to the Guardian newspaper right away. The Guardian newspaper has similar headlines with that of the Punch newspaper, and it comes thus. 2023, you will be disappointed. INEC forewarns PVC buying politicians. Cautions supporters against baseless conspiracy theories. Insists polls will be one genuine voter, one vote. No PVC, no voting. Rigging will be impossible in 2023 general elections, says AIG. Committee on Election Security assures credible polls in Kano. Why core investors, management of discos were sacked by FG. Youth fear job loss. Protest planned closure of Chevron logistics base at One. PDP apologizes to international community over Tinubu's Chatham House outing. Buhari, 44 other leaders to extract deals as US-Africa summit begins. Why we are studying Rwandan model to curb insurgency by Borno government. So, a take on Franklin Esong. The vote-buying politicians and the vote sellers electorate. How do we deal with that?
Well, I'm happy that INEC is doing much of sensitization, much of the talking, unlike the previous elections, where INEC don't come out visibly to sensitize the public on what she is doing to check vote buying and to ensure credible election. This election coming on 2023, INEC has been up and doing. INEC has been put on the spot. INEC has also been attacked severally, and so INEC is trying her best to ensure that she, gives us the best. I know that INEC has put up every, policies that will check vote buying and vote selling, the beavers and other devices, but how it will perform, how it will work, is still left more to be desired. This is the first time we'll be using the beavers for elections, so I don't really know how the personnel that will man the devices, how exposed they are to it, and if they are well trained to manage it and to handle it. And so, for me, it left to be seen. It left to be seen how INEC will be able to ensure that the devices that they are trying to deploy to ensure that one man, one vote, takes place. It's left to be seen. And I want to also add my voice that Nigerians should support INEC to give us credible election, because election is what will determine the fate of a nation.
How do you want that support to be?
Yeah, like what I'm doing now, I'm adding my voice to it. Nigerians who have.
So what about those who don't have the opportunity to sit
like
here?
This, yeah. So what you do, like if you are in the community level, you have a town crier. You let the town crier go out to tell the people, come out and vote, obtain your PVC. The day of election, see how you will behave. This is that. Let the people know that the polling unit You don't ought to crowd it. You don't ought to manipulate. You don't ought to carry materials and run away. Those kind of activities will also help. And then I also add my voice in calling on the civil society groups like us, the CLO, and even the media to do more. Let us begin to have seminars, symposium, not only on asking the aspirant to come and tell us what they will do, but let the voters also know their role, their civic duties. So when you begin to have public awareness, public enlightenment programs, you have jingles, not parties, not only the political parties coming to do these jingles or coming to you as a civil society group, as the media houses, organize a symposium, do seminars, let the people come and be informed. What people need is information, how this particular election will look like, because we are operating on a complete different and strange platform. It's not what we used to, where you will have manual registration, manual accreditation, and all those stuff. So I think it's saying you must use the PVC. Everything will be done electronically. The people should understand what it means. The women in the village who cannot read and write, the ones who are farmers, who are peasant traders and the rest, they should be able to be aware that election in 2023 goes beyond just going to thumb print, but goes to the point of after thumb printing, you stand there and the result is announced. When this is done, you will now see a system where everybody become involved in getting a better outcome. But when we just lose sight of it and we say, after all, it's a carry-go thing, they will still do it the way they will do it. At the end of the day, the outcome will still be what they want. Some people will say they've already written down their names and keep. Even if you go and vote me or you don't vote me, I will still be. That is what the politicians will tell the village women, that even if you don't vote me, I will still be. When they do that, the women will just lost faith and lost hope and then go home and stay. I say, after all, even if I vote or I don't vote, my vote will not count. But when you go out and tell them it is not true, you disabuse the minds of these villagers, the minds of the wine tappers, the fishermen, the traders, and tell them that, look, this time around, nobody's name has been written and kept anywhere by anybody. It is your vote, my vote, that will produce who will be.
I'm thinking if there was ever a time, names were written like that prior to an election.
If you study the political activities in Nigeria from 1999, you will agree with me that even at the local government level, local government elections, any party that produces the governor across the country,
you will sweep the entire local government.
So the question you asked me has been answered. It therefore means that names are written somewhere. Once you become the party's candidate, you are automatically the chairman, and that applies to other positions. So the belief has now this is the grassroots politics. When those people are in the grassroots level see that their vote don't count, then how much more the ones that in the higher level, like the House of Assembly, the governor, and the House of Representatives. So they will just tell you, look, whether you vote us or not, our names have been written. In fact, it's good for you to play safe by voting for me, because if you don't vote for me, I will still be, and I mark you as my enemy.
Okay, so my concern now is if the politicians, the present crop of politicians we have in this country, especially the ones that are interested in occupying one office or the other in 2023, have studied to master the Electoral Act, the provisions of the Electoral Act, because it seems like they don't. The Commission, this is not the first time the Commission has insisted on beavers. And I'm not sure that there is no modern day politician who has not been told that with the use of beavers, the issue of voting, multiple voting by one person is going to be addressed. So I'm still thinking, in spite of this information that has been reiterated a couple of times, why are politicians still buying PVCs? What are they going to use it for when this information has been put across and everybody has now had the consciousness that it is not going to be business as usual? Why are they still buying PVCs from people?
You see, politicians are the people I call necessary evil. They are necessary because they want to lead us, and offer us governance. They are the evil that have blocked this country into where we are today. So they are necessary evil. You cannot do away with them. and we still want to continue to, work with them because they have their own role. Even Lucifer has his own duty. Without Lucifer, you will not know God, so you will be afraid of Lucifer. So you will now go and, surrender to God and get repented. So politicians are that kind of persons. Now, why are they still buying PVCs? The answer is very simple. You see, these people, the way they think like computers. When they look at, in my own thinking now, that your polling unit, the other party has followers much more than them, what they will do is to dismember or reduce the number or ensure that the voters there don't even have PVCs to vote. So they're buying the PVC is not that they will use it themselves. It is just to disenfranchise those voters. So that at the end of the day, those who have sold their PVCs will not even vote. And they too, they will not use it. And so the areas where they have strength, those people will vote. And those votes will be counted. And that will now make them to become the winner. Let's say Party A has a strong followership in Unit A. Party B will come to that unit and buy off the PVCs of those voters there. That will reduce and deplete the support base of Party A. And then when the vote is counted, the Party A that has stronghold in polling unit A will lose it because voters will not have PVCs to vote. But the party B that goes to Party A's unit or that strong unit and bought those PVCs, in his own area where he has support, nobody has bought PVCs there. So those PVCs will now be used. Voters there will vote. So by the time you now add the vote from you now add all the vote from the polling unit A and polling unit B, you see that polling unit B will now outweigh or wins the vote over and above those in polling unit A. I believe this theory should be clear to you. It's like coming to your village. You have a strong supporters in your village, and in your village you have 2,000 voters. That is to say two polling units, and then I am your opponent. I don't have strong support in your polling unit. I come there and I buy off 1,000 polling units, 1,000 PVCs. I have reduced your vote by 1,000. That is just simply what it is. So I will not use the PVC.
What would happen
because of if the beavers and the rest?
Yes, because
I will throw them away.
Nobody has monopoly of ideas,
that is
especially
they think
criminal
like
ideas. So if the political party B also does same, so what is going to happen at the end of the day?
Those people don't think of the good. They want to outsmart their opponent. They don't think of the outcome. So if at the end of the day they are able to buy these voters' cards much more than what INEC has printed, it will be good for them so that there will be a rerun or by-election.
Okay.
That is what they want to do because they will not use the PVC to vote either because of the beavers and the rest.
There is going to be mass rallies on local government autonomy, and that's going to take place on Tuesday. And as a civil liberties organization, you like things like this. Will you join?
Well, we don't just join rallies. I like things like that. Agreed. But we don't just join rallies. We get to know the undertone. We get to know the organizers. We get to know the end result. What do you want to achieve? Just like the NSAS protest, we did not join because there was no convener. It was convened from Twitter. Just assemble on Twitter and begin to protest. And then you saw what happened when there was, destruction of properties and lives, and so nobody could be held accountable. Nobody could even give focus. So we don't just join. I don't just join protest. If we are to join protest, we must sit on a drawing board and map out
and be part of the planning.
Part of the planning. Like when we joined the ASU protest. When we joined the ASU protest, we joined the minimum wage protest. We get to sit with NLC to strategize. What do we want to achieve? We look at the address that we presented. We also have our own stand to make. And then we have placards to carry what is going to read. And then where we're going to stand, where we will start from to do the procession to the next point. And then we have to get police protection that will protect us, that we will move together. So we don't just, because you've heard protests, you jump on the street and no, we are not out. We do our thing based on the rule of law and well organized. So that at the end of the day, you have a result. Not just protesting and you go home and you don't have any result. They will just look at you as one of those riffraff that go about protesting. You need to think and think well. When we protested in 2014, we formed a group called Save Nigeria Group, SGN. We protested where we had rallies in Abuja and Lagos, and so we were having a target. We are tagging it to the fuel subsidy, the bad governance in the country against the PDP government, and we had the target, and that target was achieved because we are constructive in our engagement. That's what we like doing.
All right, so on the Daily Trust newspaper now, election spending. Politicians move to bypass cash withdrawal limits. Chieftains collect agents' account details in Nasarawa. Presidential candidate to spend 1.8 billion naira on agents each. APC mom as PDPLP kick. It won't affect our campaigns. NNPP PRP. Policy will force a change. Activists. It's the same thing we are talking about politicians. If what we read on the Daily Trust newspaper is anything to go by, where politicians are moving to bypass cash withdrawal limit, and they are targeting some agents and collecting their account details. I mean,
you know, when I came here last week when the policy was first announced, I told you that I won't tell politicians what to do. They know what to do. They just think like Lucifer. They think faster, think like computer. Before you know it, they pick up answers. So even before you even conceive the idea of how to cage them, they have already thought about it, how to bypass that policy. So it is not new that politicians think like computers. They think faster. They think by smart people. Now, I knew that there would be that calculation to bypass the cash withdrawal limit. I saw a video yesterday and I mourn. I mourn because the video show, you know, money stashed in containers and we are in wrap of Ghana must go bag, those sacks bags, and those money got rotten. And you could imagine the heart of Nigerian who could do that. I don't want to attribute it to politicians, but I said that is kind of thing that we are saying. The cash policy, I heard in your opening remark that if it will be good, that we should support it. Like I said, and I've been saying, I don't kick against any good policy. But policies that are made for a particular target are usually not successful. You don't make law because of Franklin. Because you don't like Franklin's face, you make law. When you make that law, at every forum
that the central bank has an opportunity, it tells you that it is not targeting anyone.
I agree with you.
They want to, step up a little bit and do a cashless policy and join the rest of the world. That's what the central bank has been saying.
No, you see, the timing is like a bubble trap. Election is 2 months from today. You've done the first one, you restrict the currency and change the face. Nigerians are still trying to, come to the terms to the fact that by January 30th, the old currency will be, at law. You come again with another policy. That one we all appreciated. They say fine. Come with another policy. The cash withdrawal limit. It should be 100,000 for private, for individual, 500,000 for this, and then you try to look at it. All these are targeted at election. Now the question is, you've forgotten that all Nigerians are not politicians. There are those who make their life living from other businesses. I have told you that we have manual laborers who are paid 2,000 naira per day. Would they be given transfer because of their contractors are unable to withdraw cash in large sum? Even if you want to put a limit, you can say, okay, like we agreed, you can up the figure. You increase the limit such that it will accommodate the poor and the middle class. You don't just make a policy because you are targeting at those who are billionaires. You say, let me reduce their withdrawal limit so that they cannot withdraw more than this. And you say for a week, you make it look so straight. There are people who spend 1 million in a day. And you now say they should now be withdrawing 100,000 for 7 days. You are trying to cage the system. To open up the system, make policies that will be all encompassing, all embracing.
Otuekong, as we are now, how many people do you really see not able to have, not having the know-how to do transfers? Are they still plenty? If you are doing random sampling in survey or research studies, can pick random sample. My mom, for instance, cannot manipulate her phone and send SMS. Not to talk of to understand how to use. But she has educated grandchildren who can help.
Good. Now those children must be there to guide her, right? Now, how many of those kind of persons will have grandchildren that will be around that will not be in school, or that will not be in boarding houses, or that will not be married out. Also, each time they must come, she must call a graduate to come from wherever they are to come and help in assisting. That's why we are saying that you make policy, you consider this downtrodden, this kind of persons to also exist in the society. I have told you that we don't have network coverage across Nigeria. I give you instance of Uyo capital of Akwa Ibom State. And I tell you that some villages in Uyo don't have network coverage. So you don't blame it on government, you blame it on the network providers. Now the Minister of Communication has not been able to link up or been able to give us a larger coverage. Even some radio services are not able to. I gave you that. I told you that even in my house, in the heart of Uyo where I live, if I must listen to particular radio channels, I have to move from one corner of my house to another corner so as to get the wave. That is what it is. So if you now begin to make policies and you forget about this kind of experiences, you will be shooting yourself by your foot.
When you were talking about people in the rural communities, potentially who are potentially going to have some difficulties in manipulation. And immediately I remembered that those people don't even have much money. So the 20,000 naira cash limit is even too much for them.
Okay.
Because a lot of them don't have more than that. Okay,
now let me also illustrate with this fact. I send money to my mom through transfer, 20,000, and no one in the house to help her cash the money. She has to call someone else to come and help her manipulate the phone. The person will now see, security-wise, this woman has money, that the son just send money to her. That's the point. And the person can also have access to PIP to know their account balance. So are you putting the woman on a security threat because of you want to send money to her? The answer should be no.
That too will pass away.
I'm giving you this kind of instance. So there is no excuse to a bad policy. I'm saying that the cash withdrawal limit should be upped so that Nigerians can be accommodated. Those who are at the lower class and the middle class will be carried along in the policy. All
right, so we take a look at the Daily Independent newspaper. The Daily Independent newspaper has this: analysts see 2023 as lucrative year for Nigerian banks' equities. Okay, 2023 as lucrative year for Nigerian banks' equities. And Senate moves to check President's powers to sack EFCC boss. Says no EFCC staff should be appointed Commission's head. Malami Committee working to recover stamp duties presidency. Nigeria, India to share intelligence on drug trafficking syndicates. Tinubu in Kaduna promises national industrial revolution. Stakeholders okay Dangote Cement's 10% share buyback program. And Buhari's administration to bequeath additional 4,000 megawatts of electricity by May 29. FG. Senate debates CBN cash withdrawal policy. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at the Senate moving to check President powers to sack EFCC boss. And it is also saying no to EFCC staff to be appointed as Commission's head. What exactly do they want to achieve with this?
You see, again, this takes us to the fact that Nigerian politicians are trying to outsmart the law. You cannot, try to come and review the law because you've seen that most of your members are getting the hit from the EFCC. You know that many senators have been, put on the check by EFCC boss, and they cannot even, the Senate cannot actually control. They don't have a firm control or a firm grip of the EFCC boss or the EFCC commission. So what they do now is they try their best to ensure that they can. Sometimes, most time when they invite the EFCC boss, he may not even honor them, but he reports directly to the presidency and works with the Attorney General of the Federation that that provide state councils that prosecute matters for them. So, trying to review the law to water down the powers of EFCC now, you are trying to bring a weaker structure to fight against anti-corruption. Why now? And what has provoked this sudden sudden reaction? But for me, I call it reaction of the Senate. There is no need for that. The Senate even tried to say, okay, they want to change the conviction in the criminal laws,
Administration of Criminal Justice Act, and
that,
to make people who have
so
been convicted by the lower courts to be presumed innocent in the eyes of the law.
That's it. So what is provoking this recent, reaction of the Senate? Why?
But the arguments, the arguments are very clear. We've seen instances that somebody has been convicted today and has been given 7, 10, 15 years in prison, and he begins to serve the prison term only for the Supreme Court to say, oh, he was not innocent. So how do you pay back for the number of years that the person has been in prison? Now,
you see, the way the law is made, at the trial court level, the law says he that assert must prove. In this point, EFCC has asserted that you are corrupted, that you are corrupt, you've committed money laundering, you've done this, that you are dishonest in your character, and they are prosecuting you in court. The law now gives them the power. Say they have made the allegations, they should prove it. Now, if they are able to prove, and the trial court has found you wanting of any of or all the charges, in the eyes of the law, you have been, you've been convicted. Now, it is now left for you now to take a step further in the appeal court and in the Supreme Court to now prove your innocence.
But at that time, you're going to be doing that in the prison.
No, you see, the appeal court can grant you bail. Appeal court will grant you bail. But before the bail comes, just like what the court says, status quo ante be maintained. You should first of all
be in prison.
That's
where the problem is.
Because if there is no such law, the suspect will always come to court with application that they are going on appeal, waiting for the judgment to come. So whilst the judgment just is delivered, they tender their appeal that we're going on appeal and walk away and use that appeal as a stay of the judgment. So what happens now, what the law is simply that, fine, you are presumed innocent, but now you are convicted in the eyes of the trial court. Go and prove your innocence in the appeal court. There in the appeal court, you can now go and file ask for a bail from the lower of the appeal court. Appeal court will not give you the bail conditions. You fulfill them. You go on bail. Now, when you are on bail, you can now be able to prove your innocence. But if that is not done, what it means is that if EFCC allege that Franklin the song is corrupt and they prosecute me in court, each day I go to court, I must go to court with my appeal document. That the day the court found me wanted, I tender my appeal. I'm going on appeal, and then that will ridicule the entire process of administration of criminal justice.
Okay. We believe
so that's the point.
We believe it will ridicule the entire thing, but then we are also supposed to be looking at the right to freedom of movement, because when you are the trial court, it doesn't have the final say.
That is
the Supreme Court has the final say. So rather than put somebody in prison and subject him or her to untold hardship and a lot of psychological, traumas and all that, and in the Supreme Court, it is discovered that either the judge didn't look at this or didn't look at that, or the prosecution was not able to prove this, and they say, oh, the person was not innocent. And meanwhile, you don't know the speed that this thing will transition from the trial court to the Supreme Court. Sometimes it takes 3 to 4 years, and the person has already saved for 4 years. How do you recompensate the time, the energy, and of course the kind of depression that the person, so how do you repay? So in my own thinking, is it not proper? You've been convicted, fine. They grant you on bail, and you can't run away.
Who grants you the bail? That's the question. The question is who grants you the bail?
That's what I'm saying. That is what the administration. That's what I'm saying. So in a criminal matter, the speed might not be as expedited as that of a pre-election one, where you can adjourn from now till tomorrow and all that, because it is a pre-election matter. The time frame for the election is so. But this one has to take a normal court process, and of course, how slow our court system and our judicial system has been. So my concern, and that of some of those senators, is if eventually you are convicted and put in prison and you are released by the Supreme Court in 3-4 years, how do we pay the person that has wrongly been detained in the prison?
That is why the law is an ass. The law, if you watch the lady with the scale of justice, she is blind. She doesn't look at the personality before her. she carries the scale. In the criminal prosecution, the prosecuting counsel, that is the state, must prove beyond reasonable that the scale would be like this. You know, the scale is normally, but if you watch this lady with that scale, with a mask on her eyes, the scale is always the same level.
Who put that mask on her eyes?
That is what the law is. It doesn't look at the personality before her. She only carries the scale. When you put your own evidence here, this one put his own evidence this way. It is that it will twinkle, becomes the winner. So in the criminal prosecution, the scale must be such that it will take this other way very low. This one will go higher, this one will go lower. That is why you must prove, the state must prove beyond reasonable doubt. The scale must be seen to have been swinging in favor of the state. Now, in a civil prosecution, it's different from that. In civil cases, it's different. The scale could be little. It could be very little. But the moment it has little swing, you have been found to be wanting or guilty. Now, what we are trying to say here is that, like you have mentioned, election matters are so generic. There are special cases that have a time limit that must be handled. So the cases are fast-tracked. They have a time limit to meet up. They must be in a hurry, document and file all those stuff. But in criminal matters, it could last for as long as 30 years. Now, what we are trying to say here, which the Senate doesn't even know, because there are lawyers there, they have SAN, they have people who have studied the law, some are even law teachers who couch the law and they know what the law is. Now, if you are prosecuted by the state on criminal matters, if the state is able to prove the scale wave in favor of the state, that at the trial court that you are found wanting, you don't walk away because you have filed an appeal. Appeal where? In that court, within that day, you are already convicted. You don't move away and say because I have filed an appeal. No. The appeal is when you have 30 days to file your appeal after you have been convicted. So for that day you are found wanting, you move from there to where they will keep you, which is in the correctional center. Then from there you will now go on the higher court, which is the appeal court, to file for an appeal and ask that you be granted bail. That is where you will get the bail from, not from the court that has already convicted you. In the eyes of the court that tried you, you are convicted.
Okay. All right. So that is why the Senate is saying.
So what the Senate is doing, for me, I think is okay, but because under the Constitution, the fact that one is presumed innocent is there. But they should also look at it that if they want to host the power of the trial court to say when somebody is convicted, the person can go home and come and file an appeal in the higher court, then they should look at something is missing there.
All right, we have 3 minutes to go on the program. So, New Telegraph, PMS crisis, Reps gives NNPCL 1 week to end fuel subsidy. So this sounds like a marching order. This is not the first time we've seen such marching orders. How is this one going to work?
I was even looking at the DSS, the Department of State Services, that also gave 48 hours notice to marketers, to Ipman and petroleum marketers to end the artificial scarcities. I heard that there were some arrests in Kaduna. I want to see arrests in Akwa Ibom. I want to see arrests in Lagos, Abuja, and the rest, because this is artificial scarcity that is made to inflict pains on Nigerians, and it is an economic sabotage that should be addressed by the security agencies. Yesterday, I bought fuel from a notable station in this state at 250 naira per liter, and I drove from that point to the next junction. My car started jerking. It means that upon that I bought the fuel on a higher amount of money, the fuel was adulterated. So somebody is trying to sabotage the economic policies of the government. That is why we keep on saying the Minister of Petroleum, that is the president, is not doing well. He ought to have come up with a statement that, look, this policy, this is what is happening to us. Nigerians are in dark. In Akwa Ibom State, we have the SSA to the governor on petroleum monitoring. Nobody is saying anything. And the man is also a marketer. And how do you appoint somebody who is a marketer to go and become SSA on petroleum monitoring? So there needs to be a gang up by these people to truncate the economic policy of Mr. President and the governor of the state. All right. Nobody is saying anything.
Thank you very much, Otuekon Franklin Song, CLO chairman, Akwa Ibom State. I'm sorry we have to end it here because there is a documentary that is coming up. Looking forward to speaking with you next Wednesday.
I'm always there.
All right, so that's the size of the newspaper headlines review On the breakfast program this morning, we are going to take a short break to bring you a documentary about His Excellency Chief Dr. Godswill Akpabio, immediate past Minister of the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs. Immediately after that, we're going to take a look at a critical look at the accusation of INEC on politicians who are buying PVCs. So we're going to talk about that soon after this documentary. Please don't go away.
Joy shared is joy multiplied, and there is no better time to share with the loved ones than when there is a remarkable thing to celebrate in your life. For Godswill Akpabio, his 60th birthday anniversary provided an opportunity to share joy by reliving the Akpabio Mba, which started with a statewide giveaway that saw many callers go home with gift items just by identifying with him.
Grateful, I'm so happy to have this from my amiable senator, the senator I cherish so well, His Excellency Senator Godswill Akpabio.
His Excellency Senator Godswill Akpabio for this kind gesture to the people of Bible. I mean, it's been an impact to Bible, even outside of Bible, Nigeria generally, and we wish him more years of impact, more years of fulfillment of his dreams, and more years of big aspirations, if he wants to. His dreams and desires will come to pass. Thank you very much for this gift. I really appreciate this.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Senator Godswill Akpabio. I want to wish you a happy birthday, long life, good health, and prosperity.
I'm so much grateful today for this gift that our former governor, Godswill Akpabio, is giving to me. I'm so excited.
As the man of the people, his arrival into the state was greeted by unplanned birthday cheers from the airport, where even staff of the airport cheered the uncommon transformer, the Uko Kwaibum.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. How old are you now? How old are you now? How old are you now? How old are you now?
As a man who is all about the welfare of the people, Godswill Akpabio Foundation, the GOA Foundation, organized a medical outreach where thousands of persons got medical attention, medication, food, and clothes.
The atmosphere of here today is a very marvelous and a wonderful turnout. And I love everything that is going out and taking place here because our incoming Senator, Abong Godswill Akpabio, is a person to reckon with.
Amimbo abati, Chosonga, Kata for Masio Godswill Akpabio, in Nagire. Ayana Mukan, Quamina, no any Bagam Tankamen, and Okaruka Ribanam, and Antogan, and Iden, Ambo Yabata Yonye, and Oginagira Kokta Committee Ambo Abati Yonye, Young Fogamo, Young Wanamo, Young Sangutumo Tanga Namutum Menye, Gadi Young Abati Yonye, I will go to Nanyan, I will go Namquandumukan Menye, Abatena Mibafan Mukaruka Riban, Tangana, Kutanaka Film, King Abong in Jesus Christ. Amen.
He has been so kind, helping others people, those ones that they don't have anything to eat. But After collecting the medical, after collecting the drugs and everything, she will now give you clothes, you know, food. She's so caring. I just pray that God, my prayer is God should bless her, give her long life and prosperity. Anything that she touch her hand to do, you should see favor from all angles.
The next day, the outreach was taken to the hospitals through a hospital visitation led by the wife of the celebrant, Her Excellency Godswill Akpabio, Ekaizenbom, where they visited several hospitals in the state to pray for the patients and gave succor in form of gifts and other materials.
It's like I'm one of those lucky people that has met her at the time she came to this place. I've just been admitted to this hospital today, but I'm so surprised.
Yes, brand new baby. Yes, congrats. Wow, new baby. Congrats. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, wow. I wish Senator Akpabio long life. I pray God should strengthen him. I wish him the best always.
Of my senator, may God bless him for his own birthday in Jesus' name.
The D-Day started with a well-attended Holy Mass at the St. Lucy Catholic Church in Okana, Esienodem local government area, where friends and well-wishers trooped in their numbers to pray for the Etebiridim of Anang land, Senator Godswill Akpabio.
That this is a man who loves the people of Akwa State from the depth of his heart. And that is why all of us, irrespective of political leaning, decided to come and thank God in this church for what God has done to our nation.
To see what the life has done to our leader. I'm very happy, and I will continue to thank God for giving me a good wife. Ironically, no man succeeds without a good wife, and that has come today. May God bless her and bless the entire family. Thank you for coming.
I am a product of Godswill Akpabio. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Ibi ayẹyẹ wo ló ń gbèrè ìsọ̀ kàṣẹ ẹ̀dínwó ni ọmọ mi tọ́ àǹtà bẹ́ẹ̀ bọ́ ẹ̀dọ̀ sí ẹ̀yẹ bí ọ ẹ̀dá mi ní ká wẹ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ náà ló ń bọ̀ sí bọ́sì àtàwọn ẹ̀rí sọ̀rọ̀ wọ́n bẹ́ẹ̀ ní ẹ̀dá mi ká wẹ̀.
For Senator Godswill Akpabio, sharing joy has no bounds. After the Holy Mass, the birthday train moved to Ikorekpene Correctional Center, where Godswill Akpabio celebrated his birthday with inmates and shared reliefs.
Just want to greet you. I'm 60 years today. So thank you. My wife and the team we normally send to come and see about your welfare have been coming. But today, since it's a very epochal day, I felt I should come in person. So I didn't come alone. They had come earlier. They brought you a cow and all that. I also brought another cow. And they also came with food items. So I felt I should also do the same. And I want to commend the comptroller and the staff of the correctional center in Ikeregbene for the good job they are doing in terms of maintaining the edifice. So long as you are well behaved, that your stay here will be short-lived. And my prayer is that when you leave here, you would have gained a lot in terms of wisdom, in terms of skill, which we want to impact on you, so that you will be more useful to the society. And we will always be there to assist you. Thank you for your continued prayers. And I also pray for you, that God will keep you alive, and no bad disease will take your life. And then God will protect you and bring you out. Affliction shall not happen a second time. Amen. And that as He continues to teach you and discipline you, that you cooperate with Him to make the job easier, and so that at the end you will come out in due time to be useful to the society. That's my prayer for you in Jesus' name.
Amen. On behalf of the Controller General of Nigerian Correctional Service, my controller in charge of Akwa Ibom State, I'm a director and a member of Nigerian Institute of Management. I want to sincerely thank His Excellency for his benevolence, for deeming it fit to come and celebrate his 60th birthday with us here. And let me use this medium to comment at Excellency, the Mother Teresa of our time. We have been feeling our impacts on monthly basis during the Lent period. Every week. And I want to sincerely pray that the Almighty God who gave you the vision to direct this wonderful edifice for His own glory and for the projection of the image of this state will sustain you. Amen. For greater impact, for greater achievement and accomplishment, for the glory of God and for the service of humanity. Once again, on behalf of the inmates, I want to wish you a happy birthday. The Lord will sustain you for us. Amen.
The youths were not left out as they surprised the uncommon transformer, a man that turns boys into men, with an uncommon birthday celebration by organizing a street party that started from Abak down to Ikeregbene Plaza. There were cheers and encomiums when he arrived with his entourage.
Excellency, you did everything to put Akwa Ibom in a global map. Therefore, today, God, in His infinite mercies, for these 60 years, you know what's happening? About 7 years old, Mfa said, about 7 years old, Mfa in the name of God the Father, Amen. And of God the Son, Amen. And of God the Holy Spirit. Let me just appreciate all of you. I understand I saw you on the way when I was going for another function.
And then I asked, what was the long-term boy doing? What was he doing for? They said that you had a match around the senatorial district. May God bless all of you. It is not easy for you to march all the way from back from Independence Hall. Some of you that could not walk, you entered the buses. And then you coordinated here. You were not expecting me. But for those who came and went away, this is the way that Jesus Christ.
The celebration did not end there, as he stopped over to greet the youths who organized a football tournament in a back local government area in his honor.
Now, my job today on this 60th birthday is to bless you and to pray for you. And therefore, I don't want people to fight. I'm going to join you tomorrow. Thank you, sir. But for this night, just answer me what I say and claim it. Amen. Amen.
From the football tournament, he headed to St. John Paul II College, Uyo, where the students showed their joy with colorful performances in dance and music.
You are shy. Oh, yeah, take your side. On the top, they'll be such a bad again to do. We can change food on the top. Now, take your side.
See my life is sweet, like bread and tea. Loving Master Jesus, who should I see? Master Jesus, teach I to be my teacher. Master Jesus, teach I to be my teacher.
May you live beyond 80 and 90 years. As you've joined to honor me tonight by giving me these few minutes to talk to you, may God double this age for you.
We shall spell the name Godswill. Capital G O D S W I L and L. God's will. For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. And so says all of us. And so says all of us. And so says all of us. Hooray! He's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. And so says all of us. Happy birthday, Your Excellency. May God bless you.
As they say, whatever has a beginning must have an end. For Godswill Akpabio, it is always a good beginning and a fantastic end. That is why the birthday celebration ended with a visit to the Apostolic Church, Ikodekpene, where he was received by an ecstatic crowd who could not contain their joy upon seeing the Utweni Kangi Bibio, Chief Senator Dr. Godswill Akpabio, the uncommon transformer.
Nigeria is a great country, blessed with human and natural resources. Born on October 1st, 1960, and like a child who's grown into an adult, has faced her own share of challenges. But Nigeria has the capacity to fulfill her destiny. With great minds and great leaders, a bright future is guaranteed. Though tribes and tongues may differ, her beauty is in the diversity. Her power is in the unity. Nigeria, our country, is for you and for me. Let's make it the Nigeria of our dream. Advocate Broadcasting Network, a part of you.
We are Advocate Broadcasting Network.
We cover through the length and breadth of Nigeria and the rest of the world on TV,
on radio,
on digital.
Stay with ABN for the latest news in Nigeria and the globe.
We bring you quality programming.
We showcase our diversity.
We welcome Nigerian voices.
We are Advocate Broadcasting Network. ABN, a part of you.
ABN, a part of you. Life is a combination of colors and experience in its beauty. The Lifestyle Gallery showcases the beautiful blends of African lifestyle, a TV magazine of lifestyle, food, homes, and fashion, combined with interesting interviews on trending issues. I am Nana Abina. Welcome to my world. Join me every Saturday at 2 p.m. and a repeat on Sunday, showing on ABN TV.
Well, the Independent National Electoral Commission over the last how many days has raised a concern about, the action of some politicians who they say are going about, in villages, in towns and purchasing PVCs from would-be voters. And it has got a lot of people talking. And, well, when we look at our democracy that a lot of people are saying is fragile, so we are trying to be stronger as a nation and, of course, be bigger and go bigger on a daily basis. These issues are being raised by the electoral umpire themselves. I think it calls for a concern, and it has generated a lot of talking points. So this morning, we have two gentlemen in the studios who will be taking a look at that, as well as other political issues. And, of course, the first one is a strategic communication expert and, of course, himself a politician. Annie Michaels is what he's known as. Hello, so good to have you on the program.
Good to be here.
All right. So we also have the SA to Governor Udom Emmanuel on media, Reverend Richard Peters. Thank you very much, the Reverend.
So good to be here.
Let me begin with you, because your party, the People's Democratic Party, is one of the major, biggest parties in this country. And whenever issues of this nature is raised, your party is looked at as a suspect.
I wouldn't agree with you that my party is looked at as the suspect in the issue of...
People believe these major political parties have a lot of money to spend. That's what I'm saying.
It's not about a lot of money to spend.
But it takes people who have money to buy
Party,
PVCs from people.
The People's Democratic Party is a known political party that has performed creditably as when the party held sway at the presidency. And if you look at the performances of our state governors, where we have PDP states, you see that it is only in PDP states that you can see good governance. It is only in PDP states that you can see people enjoying the dividends of democracy. It is only in PDP that you can see changes, you can see real change to the people. Now, if you look at the scenario, if you were in PDP and all of a sudden you leave the party for one reason or the other, when you go out to another party, you won't be able to perform.
Why won't you be able to perform? Does the performance index have anything to do with the political party or the
ideology of a political party also affects the individual, the ideology. For instance, in PDP, we have the power to the people. So any way you see PDP governor or in any PDP state, you see the people are the ones, having the direct reflection of governance, having the direct reflection of the benefits of the dividends of democracy. So
when you say the people, what categories of people? Because there are certain classes of people. The ones who are commonly referred to as the poorest of the poor. Are there parts of these people who are benefiting directly from?
I can tell you sincerely and honestly that if you take a walk to communities, you will see how they celebrate the dividends of democracy in a PDP state. For instance, in Akwa Ibom State, I use Akwa Ibom State as an inference. You see, when His Excellency Governor Udom Emmanuel took over as the governor in 2015, you see, the people were eager to see such a person becoming our governor. And when he assumed office, he never disappointed the people. He ensured that there is political inclusion. This inclusion cuts across all the communities. There is no local government area that you will go in Akwa Ibom State that you won't see a touch of His Excellency's governance, leadership. You see, he came in and you see roads. We have good road networks in Akwa Ibom State. We have industries. We have we have empowerment. There is a touch of His Excellency's leadership in education.
Okay.
There's a touch of His Excellency's
hold on.
leadership in security.
I will come back to you.
Power.
I will come back
So
to you
the
before
issue of PDP,
before you start,
I'm
selling.
not saying the issue of PVC. It is so devastating that
I will come back to you. So hold on. We have quite a number of things to discuss on the program. Annie Michaels, what's your take? INEC is the one laying the complaints bare before Nigerians now that, look, politicians are going about purchasing PVCs from Nigerians. What's your concern about that?
My concern is that INEC are being very objective. INEC is being truthful here, because a couple of weeks back, a young man from Seratai, a PDP member, was caught with 200 and something PVCs. You can call or seek the information from the police PRO and he will confirm. He was arrested and detained, and I understand later he was let go. He went about paying people money, deceiving the gullible, the rural dwellers that they are going to, all in the name of this poverty. You know, there's so much hunger in the land, there's so much poverty in Akwa Ibom, if we have to be truthful to ourselves. So he got these women, these youths in the villages, getting their PVCs to them, and then gave them some money.
How did you know it was a PDP person that did it?
Yes, because I must tell you, he's a son of a former House of Assembly member from Seratai.
So is that enough to claim he's from the PDP? Can't his son be a member of another political party while his father is doing something else?
No. He's not in dispute that he's a PDP member. He's a PDP member. So, but the bottom line is that what INEC is saying is that the people need education, especially as it has to do with how the beavers work. The beavers is going to only work in your unit, is only going to work with your fingerprint, is only going to work for you who owns it. So if you live in Uyo, if you can't get to your village, to your unit, to make use of your PVC, it is useless. So INEC is saying, in essence, there is no point you being deceived, because some of these politicians are still thinking that the elections will be like what it has always been. The carrying of the ballot box and going away to one big politician's house and thumb printing and then declaring result and all that. That is what used to be the norm. But the one thing we must thank President Buhari for is the fact that he's been able to change that narrative. We're going to have a vote count. When you go on the election day, go with your voter's card, you get accredited, you wait and vote. The number of persons that are accredited will be the number of persons that are eligible to vote. If the difference is in one vote, the result of that unit is cancelled. So it doesn't make sense going around to buy PVCs or collecting people's PVCs. Sometimes too is a strategy on the part of the People's Democratic Party to see how they can bring the voting strength of certain areas that are strong. You know, but all that won't help because the people are determined. One thing I must say is that the recent index by yourbudget.com declaring Akwa Ibom state 24th out of 36 states is very embarrassing. For 4 years running, Akwa Ibom has been on that lane under the watch of Governor Udomi Manuel. What that means is that our budget has not translated to affecting the people positively and in terms of their economic well-being, in terms of their welfare. The head of service the other day came for budget defense in the House of Assembly. He said that he had zero allocation to his office. Isn't that embarrassing? And we have Ibom Air, for instance, where we are told is owned by the government of Akwa Ibom State, or the people of Akwa Ibom State. But yet, from the records of the Corporate Affairs Commission, we realized that this Ibom Air is actually a private limited liability company. By that it means that you don't disclose the profit and loss of that company to the public except the stakeholders. And so you equally had the budget having input for Ibom Air for different years.
Okay, we will come back to talk about
these
that.
are the issues.
Let me give you the right of a reply. He has made some allegations on your political party. Remember when I started this program, I said whenever the issue of vote buying or buying of PVC is raised, people will tend to look at the bigger political parties who they feel have so much money, within their own purse and all that. First, he said a certain individual, a PDP member, was caught with over 200 PVCs that he collected from people. And he also said it's a strategy by the People's Democratic Party in Akwa Ibom State to depopulate areas of strongholds of opposition parties and all that. He has made. So is there anything you want to say to, add to that or to counter it?
It's ridiculous that Annie Michaels is making this bogus insinuation.
But he says the police PRO is aware of the first claim.
It's bogus insinuation because have you come across such release from the police PRO? The police PRO we know in Akwa Ibom State is always up and doing. Anytime issues like that, come up, he will.
But even if it were so, is it possible that a politician will agree that a thing like that had happened?
Insinuation.
I'm asking you a question. Even if it was so, will you agree? Because politicians don't agree all the time.
I want to reply to my brother. Annie Michaels is still living in a sense of in the abstract sense. He's just imagining. One, there is no claim anywhere that a PDP member was caught with PVCs. There is no claim anywhere that a PDP member was caught with PVCs. And he made mention of depopulating strongholds. I don't know his political party. I don't know where he belongs. But I can't see anywhere in Akwa Ibom State that is not a stronghold of the PDP. From Eke Senator District to Uyo and to Korek Benin Senator District. In Akwa Ibom State, PDP is like a religion. So why will a party that has a stronghold in almost all the local government area trying to depopulate themselves? Because I don't see any other political party that can, beat up a PDP. Ongoing, we have this massive support of men, women, youths of Akwa Ibom State by the side of the PDP. Currently we have PDP is the only strongest political party in Akwa Ibom State. Last 2 weeks ago, members of the APC, because they don't have a candidate, members of the YPP, because perhaps their candidates has been convicted and sentenced. So members of the NNPP, they all came together and said, no, we cannot follow these people.
Where did they come together?
At Udodoma. They all came together. They said,
when you say they all came together, how many were there? Because they all came together might paint another picture.
They were in their 100, including their leaders. Their leaders at the Senator District, Uyo Senator District, in Uyo Senator District, Eke Senator District, they all came out and said, no, we cannot follow any other party. We cannot follow any other party. We have known PDP. That in Akwa Ibom State, Obrong Victor Ota was in PDP. He laid the map of Akwa Ibom State. And today, we have a new Akwa Ibom. In Akwa Ibom State, Senator Godswill Akpabio was a governor under PDP. You see how he transformed the state that we were all known as in Akwa Ibom State was, the talk of the town under his administration. We have seen under the tenure of Governor Udum Emmanuel how he has taken this state to the global world. We see Akwa Ibom State is flying on the skies. Akwa Ibom State is known for industries. Foreign investors are queuing in Akwa Ibom State to asking for opportunity to invest in Akwa Ibom State. Why? Because the state has been peaceful, the environment friendly and accommodating. So I don't know where a PDP will depopulate themselves when in the real sense We are in charge.
All right.
In the real sense, we are the one dominating everywhere.
I'll come back to you. Still on the issue of PVC collection by politicians. This is not the first time INEC has raised that concern. And the question I have for you is, I thought that everybody would have thought that the level of sensitization has gone far to a point where people are now conscious of their civic responsibilities. It is one thing for someone to try to buy your PVC. It's another thing for you to agree, to sell to him or her. Why do you think people are still willing to give into such tactics?
It's unfortunate that people are still willing to buy into the idea in the first place of letting go their PVCs for money. But I must tell you, in sincerity, that the level of poverty, the level of hunger in Akwa Ibom is alarming.
Is it just in Akwa Ibom? Because when INEC was talking about PVC buying, he did not specify any state.
Yes,
he said that's what is happening in the entire country.
Well, I have to reduce my interaction to, I'm in Akwa Ibom, I live here, so I felt what is happening. I go around and all that, so I've been around and about. Now, what I want to tell you is that people have taken to the belief that it will always be the way it has always been. Over the years, elections have gone the way it has always been. And the level of enlightenment on the part of the people, regrettably, is not on the high as to exactly how the elections will be in 2023, in terms of where their PVCs work, and how they need to get accredited and vote. So they think is the way that the ballot box will be snatched and we go to a particular politician's house and they vote, they exchange it for money and they go. Now, people are also aware that the current situation needs a paradigm shift. We need to change the government on ground, the People's Democratic Party kind of government. Now, why do I say so? I say so because if you have a government who are owing gratuities and pensions pending to the tune of 34 billion naira and come out on the media, even Richard Peters went on his timeline and said that government is not owing anybody. It is even more respectful for you to say, we are owing, but please give us time, we will pay, than say we are not owing. At the same time, you see people who are entitled to these pensions and gratuities coming on social media, coming on radio to say, oh, we've not been paid. I mean, who is telling the truth? And the only thing the governor could tell the people is, if you know you have not been paid, come to the office of the SSG and see why you have not been paid.
SSG now, or head of service?
I think head of service or SSG as the case.
Head of service.
Head of service. So, but the point is that how many of these aged people will be allowed even entry into the government house, let alone be, aided to see the head of service to say, see, I'm here, I've not been paid. These are their rights. They shouldn't be made to go through this ridicule. They are aged people, they are parents. We should respect them enough to give them what is due them. So where is this outstanding 34 billion naira coming from?
All right.
Away from that, you also find a situation where you have a government who has been receiving 13% derivation refund from the federal government.
We will come back to that. Let us stay on the issue of INEC and PVCs. Maybe we'll set a time to talk about the derivation thing. Reverend Richards, a lot of people believe that politicians deliberately, systematically weaponize poverty by creating an artificial situation that will put people in financial bondage, so that when it is time for election, they now, release monies to some people who are in that level of poverty for them to get a political a kind of advantage, undue advantage on those people. In your own assessment as a politician, why do you think this is necessary?
Okay. First, I'm not a politician, I'm a priest.
You are the SA to the governor, so that is a political office.
Okay. Now, in Nigeria, we have seen a situation that the APC government came into power with deception. And this deception theory was to bundle Nigerians into their selfish gains. We have seen that ever since President Muhammadu Buhari took over as the president of Nigeria from the PDP government, we have seen how Nigeria has been taken 20 years backward. We have seen the shattered economic policies that this government has proffered.
The question I asked you.
I'm going to your question.
No. The question I asked you was about politicians across all political parties.
Okay. Now, we have seen how this APC government has weaponized poverty to the extent that it is becoming very difficult for an average Nigerian to survive. Now,
is it APC that is in charge of Akwa Ibom State?
Now, in Akwa Ibom State, if not for the fact that we have a leader who is exposed, we have a leader who is economically conscious, we have a leader who is technically sound in managing finances, Akwa Ibom State would have been one of the states that poverty rates, will be high. But thank God that...
But the National Bureau of Statistics puts Akwa Ibom State as the second highest in terms of unemployment in the state.
Governor.
So that is the PDP government. No. That is Governor Domi Emmanuel in charge of the economy. And the National Bureau of Statistics says unemployment rate in Akwa Ibom in the entire 36 states and Abuja ranks at number 2.
Mike, I have been saying this over time. In Akwa Ibom State cannot, National Bureau of Statistics cannot just stay in Abuja to compute figures and summarize percentage of those who are poor and hungry in Akwa Ibom State. You can't just stay in Abuja to do that. You have to come down to Akwa Ibom State and also do sampling. You were in school. You do projects, research in school. And in your project, before you conclude your project, there are samples. There are variables, and there are dependent variables and independent variables. Honestly, if you ask me, what were the basis, what were the approach the National Bureau of Statistics use in computing or rating Akwa Ibom State as a whatever level that you call it? I can tell you that it was politically motivated.
Let me get it clearly from you. Do we have poverty in Akwa Ibom?
We cannot have poverty in a state that we have 25 working industries. We cannot have poverty in a state that the state governor has sufficiently tackled unemployment. We cannot have poverty in a state that empowerment of our youth is going on in batches. We cannot have poverty in a state that the governor has sufficiently paid pension up to date. In Akwa Ibom State, we are not owing pension. Any pensioner that says that he is being owed by Akwa Ibom State government must have been a ghost worker. As a matter of fact, in Akwa Ibom State, we do not owe pension. Gratuity is essentially when essentially Governor Emmanuel took over as the governor of Akwa Ibom State, he paid backlog of gratuity. He paid backlog as far back as the tenure of the military administration. He paid backlog of those gratuity, and he paid it up to.
Even the state governor agrees that he is trying his very best to, as you know, Akwa Ibom State government has money to settle the issue of gratuity. But you are saying he paid backlogs, but he doesn't believe he paid backlogs.
He paid backlogs.
So between you and your governor, who knows much better?
The governor said it. He paid backlog, and the remaining years for gratuity is in batches. Last month we all hear that the governor approved billions of naira for settlement of gratuity. So it means that as money comes in, more badges, more years will be touched.
Okay.
So you cannot be poor in a state that these activities, robust engagements is going on within government. Government is empowering people.
Hold on.
Youth are empowered.
I will
women
come
are
back to you.
market women. Billions of naira have been set out to assay as loans for our market women. And Anichas can confirm it.
Annie Michaels, you were talking about weaponization of poverty.
Yes.
And it is what everybody believes is responsible for some of the electoral frauds that happen, because people don't have a choice.
Yeah.
If you give them 5,000, maybe it's been a long time they saw that kind of money and all that. But your colleague here believes there is no poverty in Akwa Ibom. So invariably meaning that the issue of vote buying as a result of weaponization of poverty doesn't exist here.
It may be that Richard Peters operates from Abia State to Akwa Ibom to work and go back. But if he lives here, he will agree with me, even in his community, Okorokubo is a poverty-ridden community. We go there and take statistics. But let me correct him that the Federal Bureau of Statistics did not sit in Abuja and came up with the figure that Akwa Ibom is the second poverty-ridden state in Nigeria. I recall when Ekemini Simon was trending on social media how the independent investigators had to go to Esreket, Ibno, and all these axes taking statistics. In fact, when those statisticians came to Akwa Ibom, they worked with the NUJ. So I think some journalists were deployed to go with them in terms of their stock taking. And before they came up with that figure, it wasn't that they sat in Abuja. The reality is that I go to the village. And when I do, I know that each time I have to go, I have to make sure that I have some money in my hands. Because you see poverty staring in people's faces. You see hunger written on people's faces. And you have to help. Because you cannot be eating and your brothers and your sisters in the village are hungry. Not because some of them are even graduates. They have no jobs. The 25 industries my brother is talking about is a sham in Akwa Ibom.
How is it a sham?
It's a sham because if you go to those industries, you only find buildings, but no production going on. When production goes on, you find distribution, you find marketing, you find returns to investment and subsidiaries springing up in those localities to also make money. And the impact will be felt in the state. But that is not the case. If you go to the coconut factory, the coconut factory, on the day of commissioning, coconuts were bought and a show of commissioning was done. Go there today, drive down today and see if anything is happening. Nothing is happening. Same for the plastic factory, the rubber, plastic rubbers making and so on along Itam Industrial Park. The place has gone off. Go to Peacock Paint. Peacock Paint was revitalized by this government, and about 120 million naira was earmarked for the revitalization. I recall that I did an independent investigation that 80 million of that money went into Mr. Emmanuel Enoidem's pocket. Then, as commissioner,
that's a very heavy allegation.
Yes, I'm saying it on
no. We cannot determine the veracity of it here.
Okay, so but please. Today that Peacock Paint has grown with grasses. Reptiles are living there. So is a Peacock Paint not part of the 25 industries we're talking about, or is it the rice factory that is happening somewhere at Ibiono where rice are bought and repackaged?
So invariably, are you saying
it's a sham.
Are you saying that in this particular administration has not done the industrialization policy?
It has not, because the industries,
and you went around the entire industries and you didn't see them working?
I'm very interested in how the policies of this government have affected the lives of these people. I drive myself to Uran. There's a place where there's a bridge that has collapsed that links where the speaker comes from, the current speaker of the House of Assembly, Right Honorable Nia Kambasi. There's a disconnect between his community and the other parts of Uran. I understand that Ukonta was awarded for the road linking the paramount rulers, the Oran to the paramount rulers from the airport road into the paramount ruler's place.
Okay,
but what happens?
You have to
Nothing
wait.
has happened.
I don't. You've heard what he has just said. I give you only 1 minute to respond to it. Then I ask you the question I want to ask about the PVC collection by politicians.
Okay, I will continue to laugh at Annie Michaels because you know, he has allowed political sentiment to cloud his reasoning, and I weep for, you know, the people.
But is it true that some of the things that are produced in these industries are not in the market?
It is very sad that it is Annie Michaels that is spewing this falsehood. The Nigerian Medical Association came to Akwa Ibom State. They went to the syringe factory. They went to the NMA Association, something like that. Came to Akwa Ibom. They went to the syringe factory. They made an assessment of our syringes that we produce in Akwa Ibom State. And they confirmed that our syringes is the best syringe so far in Akwa Ibom State. And these syringes are even imported, distributed. This our syringe, Jubilee syringe, is used by the presidency at the clinic there. In all the hospitals in Nigeria.
How do you know that?
That is what they confirm.
Who confirmed?
The
president?
No, the Nigerian Medical Association.
Okay.
They confirm that it is our syringes that is being used in 60 to 70% of hospitals in Nigeria.
All right.
And it's being exported out of this country. So, and Annie Michaels is saying that that these companies are bad. We have the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations on a tour to flour mill. The MD of flour mill confirmed that direct and indirect workers there are up to 2,000. Annie Michaels has not told us how many people are working at Ibom A. He should tell us how many people are working there. He said he made an independent findings. He should tell us how many people are working in Ibom A. Or is Ibom A that is currently having about 10 fleets. Is Ibom A also there? So you can see from this indication, you can see that because of his political affiliation,
there were some industries he mentioned. There were some industries he mentioned that you have not mentioned. For instance, the plastic industry. Where is it? The peacock pens. Is it in the market? The toothpick industry, which seems to have been the number one industry that we
have cottage industry.
Where are those products? Are they in the market?
Industry. And these industries, I can tell you, is producing. I will personally. Anybody that wish to join me, we will go on inspection tour to these cottage industries, and I will request Annie Michaels and every other YPP sycophant to join me to this inspection, because he believes that because of his political affiliation,
time is running out.
He wants to spew falsehood.
Time is running out. Annie Michaels, INEC is saying to politicians, you will be disappointed in 2023.
Yeah.
What is the import of that statement?
The import is that Beavers is what we work. Beavers does not accommodate those strategies of buying of people's voters' card, giving them money, not allowing them to come out on election day to vote. So only those that will have their PVCs, who go to the units to get accredited, will vote. And even if it's 10 votes that comes from that unit, that is what INEC will use to put together the results across the state. Like, for instance, the Ekiti election showed that the population of that state, if you look at the voting strength of Ekiti state, the total number of votes was not compared to the voting population of Ekiti State. Reasons could be strategies like this by some political parties to buy voters' card from people because of hunger, because of poverty. That is the only reason. There's no way somebody will have what to eat and will be enlightened enough, will be educated enough, that will carry his PVC and sell. This PVC beyond the election day is a document that can help you do transactions in the bank, that can be presented for a signature, or in lieu of your international passport or your driver's license, you have your voter's card. So it is a very strong document you need to have. So I don't know, it is only poverty. And we've seen that in this state, people have complained of hunger, government have not. I know of a friend who did a job for government, delivered the road project, and government, as I'm talking to you now, is owing the young man 243 million naira. And for political sentiment that is no more supporting PDP, he should not be paid his due. So if you look at the statistics of what government is owing local contractors, it is in the region of 10 billion.
All right, thank you
and
very much.
Imagine that money
Reverend
was going
Peters,
into the circulation.
Reverend Peters, I know you want to respond, but I'm going to ask you the same question. INEC is saying to politicians you'll be disappointed in 2023. What does that, statement, sound in your ears like? Only 1 minute.
Politicians will be disappointed in 2023 elections because of the people, the electorates are becoming aware of their tactics. The electorates are becoming aware of their tactics, and they have resolved to end whatever artificial problem they created while in office. Like, we are resolved to end the APC government and PDP government taking over. In Akwa Ibom State, the electorates are resolved that they will follow a man that will give them peace, development, prosperity, than a man who has questionable character and trait of dishonesty in public office. So the electorate, the politicians will be disappointed because some people want to, ride on violence to become the governor, perhaps so that maybe their criminal cases in court, when they become governor, will be, immunity will cover, and they will manipulate their way out of these cases. So politicians will be disappointed in 2023 because in Akwa Ibom State we have seen development, we have seen prosperity, we have seen a government who is so interested in developing the people, in taking care of our basic amenities. So the politicians that are recruiting cultists for Christ, politicians that are recruiting thugs to cause mayhem in the state will be disappointed. Oh, yeah. This is what that statement means. And I want to state here clearly that Akwa Ibom people are more enlightened. We will never succumb to threats.
All right, thank you.
By anybody.
Thank you very much. So we must thank the both of you for having come around to take a look at that matter. And it is our sincere hope that the people who own these PVCs will be properly guided and, of course, not allow poverty or anything else to push them into relinquishing, what is very, very dear to them. 2023 is a very important year in the life of this country, and it is programs like this will continue to enlighten the people. So I must thank you so very much. We've been speaking with the Joe of Reverend Richard Peters, SA to Governor Udom Emmanuel, on media, and of course Annie Michaels, who is a strategic communication expert. My name is Michael Bassi, and that's where we bring to a close this program, and looking forward to speaking with you tomorrow morning. Security is everyone's business. Do well to report every suspicious character around you and your neighborhood to the security forces so that together we can have peace. Take care of you. Bye.